did. Okay. There we are.
Awesome.
We are live. Okay,
Yay.
hey y'all. It took a minute for me to see myself. If you all were wondering why I was just, I couldn't see me. Hello, everybody. How are you? It is a pleasure to be with you right now. And I would like you to share. We are a couple of minutes early, so you have the opportunity before we officially start to share this live with someone you love. There is a woman who needs this conversation. And so we're going to be talking about fear tonight. You know you need this conversation, or someone in your sphere of influence does. So please share this now. I am sharing as well. And then I have a couple of minutes where I can quiet my birds, B. That's what I'm going to do. They are singing. It's a beautiful thing. It's just probably not going to work best tonight. Okay, there we go. I am sharing a couple more places. Please say hello to us. Let us know that you are here. Would love to say hello to you, and would love for you to share this out to someone. We are official at 8 o'clock, but we're on now, and we would love for you to let someone know that we're on, and we have a special guest with us, as we always do. So please get someone on with us right now. Let's see, say hello. I see you liking and loving. Thank you so much. Let me know that you're here. I appreciate that. Yay, hello, hello. All right, so I'm about 3 minutes, but I have plenty of announcements, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Trinace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women Rock, because we do. We are a 501c3 nonprofit membership community that exists to create safe spaces for women to do personal development work on themselves. And we do that through monthly sister circles. We typically host sister circles in person. We have in the past reserved our virtual sister circles to our all access members. And those are the members who are in very close relationship with us, and they get some member benefits. And one of them is a private virtual sister circle. But because of COVID, we are not meeting in person now monthly. We are meeting twice a month virtually, and it is free and open to everyone, every woman who is available to attend. We typically do them on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and they are typically about 2 to 3 weeks apart. And so our very next one is coming up Saturday, September 26th. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And we are closing out what has been really a hot topics type of summer, where we have been talking about things that really relate to grown women, like stuff we don't talk about everywhere. We have been willing to talk about in these circles. And so we've been talking about, and we will close out the discussion this September, talking about the spirituality of sexuality. And don't let that scare you. It shouldn't. And if it does scare you, you probably really need to be there because it's our opportunity to talk about the fact that we as women We really need to appreciate every part of who we are, including our God-given sexuality. A lot of our sexual health, a lot of our wellness is wrapped up in how we feel about our bodies. And so we want to let you know how valuable your body is to God, and it should be to you. We have a whole lot to share with you. So join us Saturday to talk about something you don't normally get to talk about in a safe, non-judgmental space. That's for September. Here we give you a sneak peek into a real conversation with real women. And so just in case you've never been to our sister circles, we're going to keep it real with you. We want to have an interaction with you. We will ask you some questions in the chat. We will look for your comments and share some of them and discuss some of them. And so you're not just witnessing a conversation between myself and our guests, but you're welcome to join in and chime in with us in the discussion. So again, as we've hit 8 o'clock on the dot, this is our Real Women Facebook Live chat. And I've given you our announcements. Oh, go to realwomenrock.org for information about who we are and how we can service you even in this virtual space that we're all in right now. It is possible to connect with women in a real, authentic way, without judgment, without competition, without cattiness. It is possible. And so we are examples of that since 2013. We cultivate those types of environments, and we would love for you to join us in one of our circles virtually right now. Join us at realwomenrock.org to find out more information. All right. So I get the pleasure for these next, 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes or so, to chat with someone whom I love so much so she has been invited back. So you may, and some of you are here just because you know she's the guest. I know, it's okay. It's fine with me. And so I'm going to put her on right now. I really do want to thank Dr. Veirdre Jackson. The Living Strong consultant. I'm telling you, not only is she a thought leader, a minister of to women and to leaders, she is a beautiful spirit, just a beautiful spirit inside and out. She's a savvy businesswoman. She is an amazing team leader, really just cultivating the idea of what it is to build teams and build a volunteer space, and then to experience her in a room. I've just reached out to her sometime and said, how you do that? What was that? Give me that analogy. I need to use that. That was good. So I just appreciate you so much, and so glad that God connected us now, at least a couple of years ago. And so thank you for being a supporter of me and of Real Women and Leading with Soul and all the work that I've done. It is just a genuine sisterhood. And so I'd love for you to say hello to everyone before we dig into the topic, and anything you'd like to share.
Well, again, thank you. It is always a pleasure to be in your presence. And so when I got the invitation to come back, yes. How can I say yes fast enough? So as it was shared, my name is Veirdre Jackson. I am the CEO of Living Strong Consulting. We are a leadership and team development consulting organization. We provide coaching, we provide consulting, training, and we actually just relaunched our website today. So we did a whole relaunch and highlighting the work that we do. We work with not only for-profit, but nonprofits. We work with schools as well as ministries, and we do one-on-one coaching and parent organizations. And the biggest part of our work is around trauma-informed approaches, as well as equity work. So if you can imagine, in this season of time, we have been very busy, very busy.
I know that we normally end with this, but I happen to have ventured to the website and it is absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness, just really the photo, the video, just everything is gorgeous. Could you provide your website real quick, and then we'll revisit all of that at the end.
So it is livingstrongllc.com.
Yeah, that's easy. livingstrongllc.com. You want to go there and be encouraged by the work that Veirdre does, and honestly, just really go in and find out how Living Strong can be a blessing to you, your company, your business, your organization. Please go there, and we'll come back to that. This is the real right now, y'all. We are talking about fear tonight. And I don't believe anybody, raise your hand if you are fearless, meaning you have never and are not and don't anticipate experiencing fear in some area. I know that we all have, we all do, and we all will experience fear at some point in time. And so I really want to dig into this notion that you have coined, and I absolutely love it. It struck me as soon as you sent it to me. Fear is a response, not a residence. And I want to ask you all who are with us right now to please, while I ask this first question of Veirdre, to please share in the chat where some of your fears lie. Like what are some things you are wrestling with right now in the area of fear? I'll tell you right now, I am, Veirdre, I will ask you a question, I promise. But I am writing a book right now, and it's a book that I thought initially was going to be a book anthology where I was going to be able to invite all of these other women to tell this story for me, honestly. And I was just going to be able to insert myself wherever I wanted to in this book. And it has morphed into the need for me to do it. It's really just impressed upon me and our publisher that I do it. And I have fear about it. And so I'm really putting myself out in the middle of this, right? So that we can have a conversation and I can be helped as well, because that's why I'm here as a part of Real Women. It's a selfish endeavor. So I can get some help. And I'm sure that some of us who are listening have some fears. So list your fears in the chat while we talk about this. Could you talk to me a bit about where this notion comes from, that fear is a response and not a residence?
So it's both biblical and in the natural. So as it in my bio and such, over the past year, I had the privilege of publishing Fearless Conversations with a Limitless God. And in the process of really digging into what does it mean to be fearless, it took me to 2 Timothy 1:7 and identifying that we have not been given a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, meaning those three things are our inheritance. That is what we have the right to have access to. But sometimes people get caught up in being concerned that fear is around. And fear in and of itself isn't the issue. God gave us fear as a tool for action. It is simply a response signal in your body to awaken you to the fact that something unfamiliar has entered your space and you need to be more aware of the shift or the change. It was never designed for it to come up and we grab hold of it and hold on to it and pack our bags and move into it and get stuck by it.
Oh my goodness. Slow down for a second. I know you got more to say, but this is good. So as it relates to fear, it is, I hear you saying it is natural. It is going to be present. It's going to appear. And there is a reason for it. And the reason is not for us to attach ourselves to it. And I'm anticipating and waiting for you to tell us what it is there for. I heard you say it's a signal. It's a signal for us that something needs to change, something needs to happen. I hear in some of the, I'm reading right now that failure is a big one, a big fear of failure. And I would even turn that upside on its head and say sometimes it's fear of success, right? So instead of holding on to it, then please continue. It's supposed to be something that we respond to, that we see happening. It signals us, and now what?
So fear, because as human beings, we are always trying to make meaning out of every single experience we have had. Yeah. So any given moment, we are referencing back to a past experience to try and make this current experience make sense. So because our brain is depending on that repeat pattern backwards, when something happens that pushes us outside of our comfort zone, we walk up onto something called a terror barrier. And our mind then approaches this terror barrier, and because in the way we are neurologically designed, we want the next moment to make sense. And there's a sister, in my spirit, that you keep doing the same thing but want a different outcome. And what our brain is doing, it will say, okay, I want that over there, but approach the fear, the terror barrier. And if we don't acknowledge that, okay, being willing to say, why am I afraid? What is it about this moment that reminds me of either a mistake, reminds me of a threatened moment, reminds me of something, or it is so unfamiliar that I would retreat to even the thing that isn't working for me. I'll go back to what's not working as opposed to going into something I'm unfamiliar with. Our brain, it's a wrestling process. And if we think about fear as a response signal, it is just a moment to say, okay, what is this? And then be willing to do the work to break through the terror barrier. Because sometimes what ends up happening, I love this quote, and I had to sit in it in this season. James Allen says, people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but they are unwilling to improve themselves, so they remain bound.
Woo, 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 woo.
And we want to change like the stuff, but will we pause and become willing to change what's in us that is holding us captive on the backside of the terror barrier? If we began to realize that the terror barrier is a real thing, neurologically, your mind is shifting. So stop expecting breaking through a barrier to be easy.
Yes, yes, yes. Can I pause you? So this is the issue that I have had. And I got to be honest, I have it with churches. I have it with ministers. I have it with motivational speakers. I have this issue with people who would make it seem as though we should get to a point where we do not expect issue, where we do not expect challenge, where we do not expect hardship, where we do not expect something that would scare us. I personally believe, why would we not experience something that would scare us or be a challenge? Number one, it leaves room for God to work, right? That's the first thing. But also, as you said, in order for us to get to the other side of anything, to get to the greater or the better of anything, we have to get through something. And there is no appreciation for sunshine without rain. And so when I hear you talking about fear, what automatically came to mind for me, Veirdre, was the ways that we create residences out of fear.
Mhm.
I thought about, I experienced fear. Now I have the opportunity, as you said, to do something different. I love that quote you just said. I have the opportunity to do something different. Now, I can choose to do something different, or I can do the norm and act out of it. And for me, I'll be honest, in relationships, my poor husband and and I have built in the past, I've built a wall, or I've had an attitude, or I've gotten angry. When I was just underneath all of that, I started off just being scared about something, about something. And instead of me responding differently and more vulnerably to that feeling, I decided to dwell there and turn it into something else. Does that make sense?
It does. And because you know what, so often we will hear advice of pushing the fear away. Actually, what I'm encouraging us is to pull it closer.
Ooh.
Recognize that it's a response signal. Pull it in and identify, what is this? Because it will only be in the work of what is this tied to that it is showing up. And am I willing to do the work to, one, understand what it's tied to, and then recognize it will not hold me hostage. I refuse. But it will absolutely take work. I so appreciate what you just shared, because I am so over motivational speakers. When people send me clips and all kinds of stuff on I said, please don't send me anything about a motivational speaker, because I'm done with that. I need the strategy. I need the motivation, because all the motivation is emotion.
Yes.
I need the strategy. What move do I need to make?
Yes.
So that I will take back the inheritance that is mine.
Ooh, that's so good. I need the strategy, not the emotion behind it. I love that. I love it. So I want to ask you all in the next question. Some of you have listed your fears. I would like you to just piggybacking on what Veirdre has said. What could possibly be on the other side of your fear? Let's just say you move past it and decide to do something different. On the other side of that failure, on the other side of that success, what could you look forward to? What if you were to push past your fear? We're going to talk about how do we do that in a second. That's what I'm going to ask her. But while we're doing that, I want you to go ahead and envision for yourself what could be on the other side of my fear that I am keeping myself from by staying on this side. And so I'd like to ask you, Veirdre, to just kind of help us navigate the move past, the push past. How do we do that? Because it's, it is the easy fix, or the nice talk to say, just do it, but you just said strategy and made me happy. So how do we do it?
So I have one more quote that just because it helps me focus in on why I have to do it. Yeah. So we have, and I know you're big with this, before strategy, I need to understand, why is this necessary?
Yes.
And John Maxwell has this quote, and it just went to my core. He said, life is now in session. Are you present? And I was like, yes, I want to be present. Like, even in this, even in the pandemic, even in the roller coaster uncertainties, life is now in session. Are you present? Yeah. And so it's an opportunity first to ask, like, why do I deserve this? Why is this necessary? Why is, and who's watching me? Who's waiting for me? All of these questions are at the threshold just before strategy. And I'll be transparent in something I had to do, actually most recently. So I ventured out and made an investment and got a leadership certification recently with John Maxwell. It was a huge investment. It was a whole process. And but at the start of this pandemic, I said, I need to stretch my network, do things that I have never done before, and reach for I need a bigger connection, and I need to learn new content that I've just not tapped into. Now, I said all of that. This opportunity comes, and the terror barrier was like a brick wall. I was like, no, but I said that's what I want. I put it out there.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So you break through the terror barrier with daily, strategic, consistent steps.
Ooh.
So I said yes, even when I didn't feel like it. I didn't wait. I didn't wait for my emotion to say, oh yes, I feel like it now. Now I'm gonna do it. No, I did it completely shaking in my boots because I said, this is what I wanted. This is my next. I cannot, because when you're in the residence of fear, you will hide from the very thing you want. And so I made this decision. And when I tell you, I, in my sleep, would go through panic attacks in my sleep. I could not stay asleep. And panic attacks, it is a physical response. Like you viscerally feel the tingle, the tension, like in my body. And then I woke up and I was getting robbed of sleep.
Can I please interrupt you? I gotta interrupt you.
Yes.
Because the same thing has happened to me in the past. And I cannot believe you just said that, because fear, if you allow it to take residence, it will interrupt all parts of your living as well as your sleep. Like it will allow, it will prevent you from being able to rest, whether you are conscious or in your subconscious, whether you are awake or asleep, it really will. And I love that you brought that just home to you, because so many can relate to that. The restlessness that some of us are experiencing is because we refuse to, I'll even add this, either we refuse to move forward toward it, or we're doing it while we're afraid and we think there's something wrong with this feeling. You know what I'm saying? That why I must be inadequate because I'm not running toward this with a sword and a spear, like and a shield, like, yes, I got this. No, I love what you said. Daily, consistent steps, even in the presence and the presence of fear. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it is acknowledging. And so then at first I was wrestling with it, but then I exactly what I just shared, I pulled the fear in. I pulled it closer. Because you know what? We actually are not afraid of the thing that we are actually going through. We are afraid of what we think it relates back to, or the perception of what we think it's going to be. But we are never actually afraid of the thing we are in.
Slow down. Slow down. Veirdre, you gotta slow down. In the moment that we're dealing with a thought, a situation that scares us, we are not most afraid of the moment. We are afraid of whatever past something it for us connects to, or what future something we anticipate that hasn't even happened yet.
You are not afraid about the moment. Your mind, remember, your mind is constantly trying to make meaning. And it's going to pull from if you made a mistake in the past, if you made a bad purchase in the past and you didn't do anything with it, and you beat yourself up over the fact that you did, I'm telling I'm laying my whole stuff out there. But and you didn't do anything with it, and it ended up you wasted that money. In that moment, you are afraid of the mistake from yesterday, and you are letting it chokehold you right now. But it's not that you're afraid of this. You are afraid of the past thought of what you used to do.
Yeah. Can I even add? So even if let's say, because you just made me think, okay, so I've been afraid of something I've never done before, but it's still connected to something back there because I felt inadequate or been told something about inadequacy somewhere back there that makes me not confident in this moment. Yes. So allowing the presence of fear, that's good.
Yes. And then the additional piece that is so powerful is that fear is perception. Mm-hmm. So if you're afraid of failure, if you are afraid of something you don't know, it is your perception of how you are looking at it. Mm-hmm. That's what's holding you hostage in the residence.
Yeah.
And so as I am wrestling in my sleep, I pulled the fear in closer, and I became honest with myself in that I'm not afraid. There is nothing about this certification that makes it look like it's a fraud or a hoax. I am holding on to the fact that in the past I've said I wanted something and I go for it, and then I didn't go all the way through with it. Mm-hmm. So I had to pull the fear in and get honest with myself and then shift my perception. And no lie, this is what I did. When in the middle of the night, when I would feel the sensation, my whole body would tingle, my heart would start racing, and I would wake up out of my sleep. I immediately began to thank God in gratitude for tangible things that were in the present. Remember, life is now in session. Are you present? I'm worried about something I did X number of years ago. Life is now in session. Are you present? Yeah. And so in the bed, I would just start uttering gratitude. Lord, thank you for my household. Thank you for your provision. Thank you for the opportunity that you are going to provide through that. And literally would do this. Now, the first time it was hard. Yeah. But it is consistent, strategic, daily steps. So every night that it would happen, I picked the same strategy. I am going to shift my perspective. So I just started speaking gratitude out. Lord, thank you for the rest that you are providing me. Thank you for the bed. Thank you for the house. Like I would just go into speaking out gratitude. And girlfriend, when I tell you I sleep well, I sleep well. Yeah. It is no longer something that I'm worried about constantly, because I pulled it in close, polished my lenses about how I was perceiving it, and decided that gratitude was going to be my residence, not fear.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Such a gift. And to connect that to so many of our, because whatever we are fearful of, it may look different. The cover, the insides may look different, but it really is fear, And so fear as a blanket can really be done with these daily consistent steps. And whatever those steps are, I dare say, I believe that we know them. Like we know what we're supposed to do. Can I just offer that? Like, what you're supposed to, I just haven't activated half of what if I would just activate half of what I already know to do and just take one thing at a time, I really believe that we know what to do. And so being consistent at it, how many of us have an issue with consistency, you know? And then I love what you said at the beginning, because we instead of running toward it, we run away from it. And so this avoidance, and someone just said polish my lenses, so we would look away, we wouldn't even try to see it better, we would just look away in the hopes that it goes away, and it doesn't until we're willing to deal with it. And that consistency is so key. I'll tell you, for me, I brought up my fear of having to write this whole thing myself. I have taken on from this wonderful book that I've written, that I've read recently, that I need to write 3 pages a day. It can be about anything. It doesn't have to connect to the book, but I just consistently need to write out 3 pages a day. And it has allowed me to really, it's opened up the creative floodgates so that I can begin to write. And so consistent daily steps. I love that. I would ask, this goes by so fast. This is why I had to invite you back. This is why. If you all did not catch the 2 questions in there, we've gotten so many, those who are agreeing. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you for answering the questions, Mo, and those of you who have answered. I would love for you to just share some closing words with us, Veirdre, and somewhere in there, you're welcome to share any services, any places that you'd like us to go, any resources that you'd like to share with us, but whatever your closing words are.
I would encourage you to answer 4 questions.
Mm-hmm.
4 questions for yourself. So grab whatever pen, whatever, and I really want you to sit, and don't be afraid of sitting still,
mm-hmm.
and ask yourself these 4 questions. What outcome do I want?
Mm-hmm.
What outcome do I want? And that needs to be a tangible, measurable outcome, not just that I want to feel better. No. What outcome do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Then the second one is, what do I need?
Mm-hmm.
What's in my way, and what needs to go? What do I need? What's in my way?
Mm-hmm.
And what needs to go? And as you answer those questions, stop expecting the process to be easy.
Wow.
It is not.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with you as you approach something that is unfamiliar, that you are not certain of. That's where you give God margin for the miraculous to happen and show up. Stop expecting this to be easy, and recognize that the terror barrier is a real thing. So stop getting shocked by the feeling. It's a real thing. Call it out. Okay, that's the terror barrier. Now let me respond and move. Know that it's a real thing. You are not your emotions.
Wow. Wow.
You're not your emotions. You serve a God that is greater, and he has put something in you. Stop robbing people of the assignment he has put you on.
Wow. This has been so good, because one, I've said it, this will be my last time. I put out there something that I'm actually dealing with, that I have been applying, no less, exactly what you just shared, and it's been helping me. But I would love for all of you all who are listening, if you are managing fear, if you know someone who is managing fear in some area of their lives, what you just said is worth all of its weight in gold, and the price of admission that we are not our emotions. Just because we feel it does not make it so. It does not make it so. And there is strategy behind what we're feeling that we can execute to move past the terror barrier. I don't, you just got so much. It was a word, Tori, and it is good, Mo. Thank you all so much for joining us. Share this with somebody because it has been everything that I needed tonight. Veirdre, could you share again how folks can reach you and whatever you have that you need us to know about?
So when we talk about strategic steps, there are strategic steps in the last book that I wrote, Fearless Conversations with a Limitless God. You can get it on my website, livingstrongllc.com, or Amazon, any number of online. You can just Google it and it'll pop up. Mimosa Publishing also is the publisher. You can purchase it from them. But it has strategic steps. It has 9 specific steps of addressing and looking at fear and recognizing that it is a perception. And then, check out the website. We just relaunched it. Again, it is livingstrongllc.com. And you can absolutely correspond with us there.
It is a beautiful website. I'm waiting for it to come up. I have put it in the chat. You have some wonderful thank yous and wows in there that you may want to see later. Veirdre, thank you so much for joining me again. And just don't be surprised somewhere down the line if we say, hey, you got 30 minutes, because it is such a hot topic that we are always dealing with in some way, shape, or form. And so thank you for being a soldier in the army of courage and living strong. We really appreciate you. Thank you all for joining us. We do our best to give you 30 good, strong minutes of real conversation with real women. And we want to tackle things that you are actually dealing with, so that you can get some real help in these areas. We only have 30 minutes to do it. So then we invite you to go to our website at realwomenrock.org to find out more about our now virtual sister circles that we host twice a month. And we have one more coming up in the month of September on Saturday, September 26th. Check us out at realwomenrock.org. We hope to see you online for our virtual sister circles. And we'll see you back here every Wednesday night that we have a guest at 8 p.m. Love y'all. Thank you so much, Veirdre.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure. Always love you. Love you.
Always love you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.